Welcome back to Channel Sport this morning. We just had a guest, Shewa Adigun, was come to talk about the first ever bobsled tryout combine, which will go down at the National Stadium on Saturday. So if you're interested and you want to be a bobsledder or a skeleton athlete, you know where to go on Saturday for the tryout. Let's move on with the show now and let's talk about the Nigerian Women's Professional Football League Match Day 4. It's back and there's some very interesting results to talk about. Yemi?
Yeah, a lot of interesting results to talk about. Matches played. I'm very sure the results will come up on the screen shortly. You had surprisingly an away win in there. You had Rivers Angels beating Oshun Babes. A couple of draws as well. Let me just read it out to you while we wait for it to come up on the screen. You have Rivers Angels beating Oshun Babes by a lone goal. You have Sunshine Queens also defeating Bayeso Queens 1-0. Kaduna Queens beating Nazareth Amazons 2-0. FC Robo had a slim 1-0 victory over Delta Queens. Imbom Angels defeated Invisible Angels 2-0. Edo Queens played a goalless draw with Adamawa Queens. And of course, Abia Angels played a 1-1 draw with Confluence Queens. That's some of the results on match day 4. Of course, the surprise for me was, well, maybe not too much of a surprise. I mean, you expect Rivers Angels to always get decent results. But that's the high point, going away to get a win in that one. Very, very interesting how they were able to get the job done in that one. So that's the beat on the
Women's league. Not a lot of surprises. And you can see how slim the margins of victories are. It just tells you it's quite competitive at this level as well. So hopefully this can carry on.
Fewer matches will be played. So, I mean, a lot of teams
There's a lot of stake.
Yeah, a lot of stake. You miss it, you miss out. And the teams are trying to ensure that, look, they're still in contention when matches are concluded in the group phase. So that's instructive to know.
All right, then let's leave the women's football on the local scene now. Let's go to the international scene where Nigeria Super Falcons are trying to qualify for the Tokyo 2020 Olympics football events, obviously. And they started out on a very fantastic note. They went to Algeria and they got a win, a very comfortable win at that. 2-0 ended in favor of Nigeria. So that's the advantage Nigeria in the first leg. You imagine Super Falcons will come back home and just wrap it all up.
Yes, it's been a while we've been at the Olympics female football event, and we have a good chance now. It's one of the qualifiers, and we've won the first leg in Builder, Algeria. That's when the game was played, and we won 2-0. And I agree with you. We trust that the girls will come and finish up the job right here in the country. And it's looking good, really. It's looking good. And hopefully they'll get the job done this time and they'll be able to make it down to the Olympics. A lot of people have talked about the Falcons and their dominance being challenged by a couple of teams, South Africa, Cameroon, maybe Ghana. But here presents itself an opportunity for the girls to show that they're still dominant and, of course, get to the Olympics. For me, our best Olympics performance was in 2004. I think we won a game, played a couple of draws, and we lost to Germany in that one. That said, I had Messi, Akide, and, Perpetua Nkwocha, all of those girls at the height of their powers in that one, and they were able to do so well. Right. So that's what I'm expecting from this crop of ladies as well.
Yeah, and this win is even more impressive because they went to Algeria with home-based players. The foreign professionals could not turn up for various reasons, club commitments to be specific, and that all home-based players, they've gone to into enemy territory and they've got all 3 points. They've got the win, which is very important, and they'll be coming back to Nigeria. I would because the message from the NFF is that those foreign players that missed out in the first leg should be available for the second leg. But at this point, I don't think there's any need to bring those ladies back. I think the ones that went to Algeria to get the job done in the first leg are good enough to wrap it up, in the second leg. But I mean, that's for the coach and the federation to to determine. And so we'll see how that one pans out. So congratulations to the Falcons once again for getting that first leg win over Algeria. The second leg is going to be right here in Lagos at the Agege Stadium. Let's leave the Super Falcons now. Let's talk about the Super Eagles of Nigeria, a player who's being tipped to have a great future for the senior men's national football team. Alex Iwobi, on his first start for Everton, scored his first goal. Alex Iwobi, hear me?
Yeah.
You said it at the start, he needs to add goals to his game.
That's the only thing left. That's the only thing left for Alex Iwobi. Just add goals. That's the only dimension left to his game. And of course, I mean, answered that question. A lot of people have questioned if he was going to be able to get playing time if he stayed at Arsenal. But here at Everton, we thought it was going to be easy. But you also look at Everton now, have a couple of decent players.
A very ambitious side as well.
With a manager that loves possession football. And I'm waiting to see if he's going to play more centrally, because I've seen him thrown out on the wings. So we'll see if he's going to play more centrally. But it's good news that Alex Iwobi gets to score. And hopefully there'll be more to come from him, getting goals. Because the game has developed so much these days that the job of getting goals is almost for everybody.
Right.
You even see defenders chipping in a lot of goals. I mean, some defenders are threats when corners are playing and all that. Look at Sergio Ramos at Real Madrid, even Van Dijk at Liverpool. So anybody playing in an offensive position needs to come in with a good number of goals.
Perhaps this is good omen for Alex Iwobi as well, too, because it's his first goal in 12 League Cup appearances. All this while he was at Arsenal, didn't get a goal. His very first start for Everton is scores against Lincoln. So we wish Alex Iwobi, hopefully it's many. He's the first of many goals to come for the Nigerian international. We need to go on a break now. We'll come back. We're talking about another young star who was setting the French league on fire. Welcome back to Channel Sport this morning. Before we look at the papers, let's go to the French League On. Let's bring you updates concerning Nigerian forward Victor Osimhen, who's doing great things. He's doing amazing things. Yesterday, his team, took on Saint-Etienne, Lille versus Saint-Etienne. And Victor Osimhen, after not scoring in the second game, scored 2 goals in this particular match to help his team to a fantastic victory. And every time I see this guy play, every time I see the kind of goals he scored, it just reminds me of Wu and how a natural scorer should play.
Yeah.
In the box, he's deadly. Every chance he gets, he almost converts them. And that's why he has 4 goals already in 3 games.
Yeah, I mean, what can you say? Decent return. I mean, 4
more
goals,
than decent return.
4 goals in
That's more than 1 a game.
And gradually, people will start forgetting about Pepe. I mean,
Of course.
I love all the noise about Lille losing their talisman. A lot of people start forgetting if the goals come like this. And look, I mean, if you're big for the big stage, this is how you show it.
Right.
Even with just few games, it's showing that Osimhen is cut out for big things, and hopefully it continues like this. I mean, you look at some of the goals, well-taken goals.
Yeah.
I mean, not just the goals, but the thinking, the thinking behind the goals. And once you have a striker like that, then if you're a football fan, maybe a fan of the Super Eagles or a fan of his club, you'll be happy because all that needs to be done is just get the ball in the box. Just get the balls to him.
He's always going to find a way. He's always going to find a way
to.
You mentioned some of his attributes already. I also think, obviously, he's a very aggressive player. He's definitely not going to be pushed off the ball easily. His positioning is also remarkable. I've seen the goals he scored yesterday, and a couple of times the defenders they were aware of where he was, and in a split second, you know, he's moved on to something else.
Yeah.
And before the defender knew what was going on, the ball was in the back of the net. So he's got great positioning. Obviously, he's a great finisher, as we saw at the Under-17 World Cup, where he emerged top scorer as well, too. And like you said, and I totally agree, it looks like he's destined for great things in Europe. And I imagine Lille, I can't help but think they're already licking their lips on how much profits they're going to make on him when they eventually sell him.
A season or two, the bigger clubs. I
They
mean,
will come
clubs
calling.
in Belgium, Holland, and some parts of France,
Yes.
they're not turned to selling clubs.
That's what they are,
And
unfortunately.
the bigger ones have become the predators. Just
Yeah.
wait for a guy play a season or two, it's off.
Mm.
And that's why those guys focus more on their academies. They're ready to churn out talent.
And that's why they go out a lot to invest in young players.
Yes.
Young players, they buy them cheap.
Yeah.
They come, they give them that platform to play, and they go and do great things, and they sell them off. You mentioned Nicolas Pepe as well. It's a similar
Circumstances,
situation. And look at him now, record signing for the Arsenal. And, you know, I imagine Victor Osimhen is on that same path. And I wish
A season
him
or two,
I wish him.
especially if he's consistent.
Yeah, I mean, it started on a very good note, and I think it will continue in that particular vein. Then we need to see him with the Super Eagles as well.
Yeah.
So that's very important. He has now had the opportunity because there was a main starting striker who's no longer there now, Odion Ighalo. So for me, I'd said it even as soon as Odion Ighalo retired, I said,
And the pecking order is your number
this is
one.
the guy. Yeah, that was even before I kicked the ball for
Your
Lille.
pecking order is your number one.
Right now. Right now, I don't know about you. Perhaps you have somebody else in mind. That person to play the number 9 for Nigeria.
I'll leave Gennard Raw with that headache. I'll let him deal with it.
Surely
I
you have
think-
your own preferences as well. So I'm sure you prefer someone. You might prefer Paul Onuachu, but this is the guy for me.
I like Henry, I don't know why.
Henry Onyekuru.
Yeah, I do.
Nah.
I do. So, but that's why I said we'll leave the headache with Gennard Raw. You know, look, and one other thing, that's why, if I want to talk about this club, I'm more enthusiastic. For the national team, look, it's not about the player doing well. It's about you getting the best out of the player. So if he's going to be your number one, you have to play to his strengths.
Right.
Don't make him start chasing the ball around. If this guy is a predator in the box, you know the wingers and everybody have to play for him instead of making him. So that's the dynamic. So whoever suits Raw, whoever suits whatever style is playing, but if it is the way the Eagles are playing currently, and you put an Osimhen in there, it might not be as effective as the same because you see him start chasing the ball around. I don't know.
I don't know. All right, we'll see. We'll see how that one pans out. I guess we'll get to find out, you know, when Nigeria takes on Ukraine. That's an international friendly. We'll get a better indication of who Gennard Raw will be looking at going forward for Nigeria in terms of the striking position. Let's go to the papers now and see what they're talking about. And let's start with Sporting Life. A lot of very interesting stories. We're going to start with the match against Ukraine, the international friendly on September 10. And the story is Gennard Raw has dropped Wilfred Ndidi from the game, and in his place is invited Anderson Esiti for the Dnipro Arena clash. And if you want to know why this change has been made, the story, the details is definitely, you know, on Sporting Sun. And to France, Osimhen scores brace again. That's his 4th goal of the season for Lille against Saint-Etienne. We just talked about that. Now, Iwobi's goal leaves toughies as well, so fantastic for Nigerian players outside of the shores of the country. Zidane insists on signing Pogba. Yeah, I mean, he can insist all he wants.
All you want.
Pogba is not going anywhere in this summer window.
It's not happening.
What is all this about?
It's not happening unless maybe Pogba goes on strike.
Nah, even if he goes on strike, he's not going anywhere. Not now. I mean, you see,
team is
United
too
is so lean.
lean.
Thin in midfield. Very limited options.
Sanchez
He's on his way
on his way out.
Yeah,
And,
no chance. So,
no chance.
Zidane can start planning for next summer, you know, if he wants to sign Paul Pogba. Yemi mentioned Alexis Sanchez. Inter agreed to pay close to £4.5 million for Sanchez, and Man United will pay the striker £300,000 a week. Interesting. Neymar's Barcelona move on the brink of collapse. This one is going to rumble on until the very last day of the window.
That's strange because if you go to the next paper will
what
come
is-
complete sports on the front page, Thursday edition, telling us Barca agree Neymar fee with PSG.
There you
So,
go.
I mean, just keep your fingers crossed. You never know. You never know. You have to wait till the first few days in September and see if it happens or not. A lot of interesting stories. You talked about Real Madrid earlier. It's getting from bad to worse now.
Okay.
Madrid dealt Isco a blow. So, the list piling up for Zinedine Zidane. So I guess I understand why he's insisting of having Paul Pogba, because I don't know what he's going to do this season. Too many injuries. Ahmed Musa rated 44th worst player in the EPL. That means players that have played in the EPL. He didn't have such a good time when he was with Leicester. Talking about the Neymar transfer saga, Ousmane Dembele's agent insisting that his agent is going to remain with Barcelona. It's not going to be any make weight for any deal that takes Neymar.
Not interested in that
Not
one.
interested that Dembele wants to stay in Barcelona. So we see, makes it all the more difficult.
Very, very difficult. But for Barcelona, it's been a bit of a disaster. How they try to replace Neymar and buying Coutinho,
Dembele.
it hasn't worked out.
It hasn't.
It struck me that they've decided not to have the patience. It looks like they want to cut their losses and move on. I mean, these guys are really good young players that can still, get
With time.
better. Yeah, but it looks like there's no patience there. So even for a club like Barcelona, with all their
Array of stars.
moral grandstanding as well, too, they don't have time. They want to win right now, and if they feel these two guys are not doing well enough, they want to go out and bring back Neymar to the club.
And it tells you the story that nobody is promoting, especially the big clubs.
Who's
Nobody's
doing
promoting
that?
young stars anymore. Nobody.
But there's a club still doing that, though. Yeah, if you have the DNA, you're good to play for the club.
Well.
That's Manchester United. All right, let's see.
Okay.
Sporting
How's it working for them?
Sporting Zone is our last paper for review. Barca agrees 54 million pounds deal for Neymar. Big one today, UEFA Champions League group stage draw will be done, and clubs like Barcelona, Real, and Liverpool will know their opponents. Sanchez in Milan for Inter Medical, we talked about that already. Dembele rejecting Barca exits, and a bit of boxing. Furious Fury knocks Joshua. Again, these two guys, I can't wait for them to settle their scores in the ring. Enough of the verbal sparring. Alain Raju Kayode sets top targets in Turkey, and FG to dole out 46 million naira to African Games winners. I like this one. Hopefully,
Sounds good.
Hopefully it's true.
Hopefully it's true. Okay. All right. That's how we wrap things up on the show today. We do hope that you've enjoyed all we've brought to you. We'll do this again tomorrow. I'm Yemi Adebayo. Bye-bye now.
I'm Tayo Salam. Enjoy the rest of your day.